Hello everyone, friends, this is Kus with you. And today I have a review for you of a budget, well, in quotation marks of course, because Conspit is flagship level product. A budget steering wheel from Conspit, the 300GT. Here it is, looking beautiful, and it lights up right away. Why? Because it's not just compatible with Conspit bases, it works with any DD base, you just need your quick release and a cable. This cable is already included in the package, here it is. So you just take it, there you go. It's magnetic, and the whole time I was testing this wheel, I was using it with a cable, even though I could have connected it directly via the quick release, since this is the native wheel. My base is also Conspit, so I can just snap it into place, and it will work for me just the same. But I specifically use this cable, which I have to say is quite long and stretches very well. I didn't even worry about it. Usually, these cables come with an additional extension that connects directly to the base. You usually wind these cables around the shaft like this. That's what the Italians from Cube Controls used to tell me. And by the way, that didn't help at all. Three cables of mine broke. The first cable broke, they sent me a second one, the second one broke, and then they just told me to get lost. They said, "We won't send you a third cable." They repaired the third cable for me, and it also broke later on. Maybe the cables were just low quality, I have no idea. Here, when I was driving, it was a bit stretched, but the whole time it never popped out of the hub on the USB side. And from here too, look, do you see, see? I'm pulling it right now, really hard. I mean, you get it, right? The connection here is really solid and precise. Especially with the magnetic part, nothing comes loose. But still guys, after about 6 months or a year of use, it's better to get yourself another cable like this just in case. Why? Because Fatal, Vasca, Photon, and I think Kostya Tuzer Caravan steering wheels also connect to the base with a wired cable. And as far as I know, they've already run into issues where these cables fail. But not after just a month, 2 or 3, like it happened with the Italians from Cube Controls. Damn it. That usually happens maybe after a year or 2 of active use. I drove with it for about a week and I didn't have any problems. Well, maybe now the cables have become more reliable, of course. Because back then it was all just getting started. So if you want to upgrade your wheel, you can take a look at this one. You take your quick release, plug it into the computer, and you're good to go. Let me plug it back in to show you. Now it's gonna light up all over, looking really fancy. All the buttons can be customized. I'll show you all of that right now, of course. As for the price, again, it's $400 versus $710 for my yoke. So this is my Conspit Combat yoke. This yoke is more budget friendly. For more precise prices, you can check with Sasha Dudarev at the Dudarev Motorsport store. I'll definitely leave a link in the description, because by the time this review comes out, this wheel will already be released. So I have a kind of pre-release version for review, so to speak. So you can check the prices there. As you can see, I already managed to slap some stickers on it, started customizing it, and then thought, damn, why am I even doing this? You probably won't like it, but I'm doing it for myself. They still share my preferences, right? So I stopped putting stickers on here. So let me show you right away. As for the package contents from Conspit, honestly, they have all sorts of stuff, you know, like these things, some kind of tracing papers, I don't even know, a ton of paperwork. They don't think about the environment at all kinds of stickers. There's a billion different stickers here. But what I really liked were these little things. So you see there are these kinds of stickers and these kinds of stickers and these ones too. They're already sized to fit the steering wheel. You can see they even have cutouts for the bolts. It's kind of cool, I like it. You can also choose them in different colors. And again, just look at how much stuff there is. So you can customize this wheel in all sorts of ways. But still, you know, these stickers are cool, but the ones for the button stickers, I just don't like them. They're kind of poor quality. With Simagic, when I had the Simagic Neo wheel as part of my setup, I noticed that the button stickers on that wheel seem to be a bit better overall, both in terms of how they looked and how they felt to use. Let's take a moment to directly compare these two wheels now and see the differences between them. What do we see here? We can see that my wheel has a few more buttons specifically. I think it has 2 more buttons and the same number of rotary encoders. But there's also a difference on the back side. On the back, you can see that I have a few more paddles. The paddles are a different type, and it seems like yes. Oh wow. Take a look over here. See, they finally started putting buttons on the back. Well, damn. I thought that when the Moza Video GT came out, everyone would catch on and at least start putting 2 buttons on the back panel. They're really convenient because there aren't too many, just 2, and you definitely won't get confused about what you've assigned to them, and buttons are never a bad thing. At first, I didn't like it if you look at my unboxing on the Boost, I said there, I like the placement of those 2 buttons. They're kind of positioned right here, you know? It's just a bit awkward to reach for them. That's it. But then, after I used it, when I played Le Mans Ultimate, I had these buttons set to increase or decrease the kilowatts the motor power on the hypercars. It was with this wheel that I actively drove hypercars at Le Mans here, and it turned out to be very convenient. So on the right I increase, on the left I decrease, and I really like this layout. Although, I think if they were somewhere here under the pedals, it wouldn't be any worse. I would use them just as comfortably. Overall, it's a useful feature. I hope that in the future, all wheel manufacturers will at least leave 2 buttons on the back, because, well, you can never have too many, and you can assign something really important or something you change often to them. I actually like this even more than better than the rotary encoders. Also, the front part of this wheel is made from real forged carbon. Although at first, again during the unboxing on Boosty, I thought it was fake. I thought it was just some high quality plastic. No, it's exactly as it should be. It's all carbon. See, so the materials here are good. The grip of the handle, all of that is more or less like on my wheel. I actually did a review of it not too long ago as well. Here, the grip is exactly the same. Screens. As you can see, yes, the screen here is of course small, but again, man, every time I talk about these huge screens, well, what for? It's just for showing off. Do you think I look at this screen? No, I don't. Almost never, very rarely do I look at this little screen. No, not really. But imagine if there was no screen here, just a flat plate. It would look cheap, it just wouldn't be as stylish. It's the same here. Take away the screen and what you end up with something lame, since steering wheels with a screen always look more stylish. That's why there's this little screen here. You can sort of put something on it, but at the same time it adds a bit of style. And on the back we have a button that, as you can see, switches between different screens. You can also supposedly connect this wheel to IMHub. There you can also select dashboards or something like that. But I'll talk about the software in a moment as usual. The software from Conspit is lacking, honestly. It really is lacking. And I'll show you this clearly in a moment. But for now, let's talk about something good just for a bit. Customized directly in the software. Also, when traction control or ABS is triggered, you can set it up here. Something will blink, something else will do something, something will just stay lit. So basically all this lighting, all this color indication, yes, it's all customizable. Let's get back to a brief comparison. Here we have fewer buttons, and unfortunately there aren't those cool buttons like on my racing wheel, you know, the ones that are positioned right towards you, looking at you. At the same time, this 300GT wheel is actually much lighter than my main wheel, so it's just lighter. And basically that's it, you know. What about the front here? The dials are in the same places, the side dials, all the buttons, everything is absolutely identical, everything is exactly the same, except for the price. Again, let me repeat, $710 versus $400. There are also changes on the back part. Here, look, we have, you see, ordinary petals, and by the way, I like them. They feel really nice to press, and something here got magnetized. I don't know where that's from. Anyway, they make a really cool sound. They're very quiet, and, you know, they have a nice actuation force. Yeah, the paddle shifters are basically more or less the same. And I like that these petals, you see, can be adjusted a little. Yeah, but I do miss the third row of pedals that you can assign. Man, after this wheel, the sounds here are so loud. Actually, I always end up talking about the pedal sounds quite a bit. By the way, just so you know, it's only the upper ones on my main wheel. They're actually quite noticeable, pretty loud really, just for reference. I always talk about pedals, but in fact I don't hear them at all. I always drive with wireless headphones, and because of the game and the stream itself, I don't hear at all how these pedals sound. But again, as I said, this might be important to you, especially for those who play at home and have family members around. So noise does matter. Let's check it out. As for the sound, if I compare it right now, I don't like that here the sound is a bit metallic, you know, kind of rattling, and it's like BRM, and this sound resonates. And on my main racing wheel, I also mentioned during the review that I don't like that weight, that's dirt. Don't pay attention to that, I wasn't fully prepared, that's just dirt from my fingers. I don't like that you see, they have a bit of play. Yeah, they have some play. Well, these top and bottom ones, I don't really like this bit of looseness. So what? That's it. Basically, those are all the differences. A different screen, a few less buttons, but there are 2 buttons on the back and the pedals are a bit different. Other than that, like I said, it's very similar to my 290GP wheel. By the way, it's cool that now they include a little booklet like this with the equipment. And here you can see all their products and how much each one costs. For example, here's my base. The pedals are here too, you see, and the price is listed right away. But actually, I opened a not so great page. Here is just a wheel for 2,000 bucks. Wow, just look at that. Over there, they actually have a wheel which is called the Conspit P1 Podium Precision or something along those lines. No way, 2,000 bucks. Alright, hold on. I actually bought this one for 1,500 euros back in the day. By the way, I let it go cheap. Take it for 700 euros, take it for 500 euros, just take it off my hands. Alright, that's it for the comparison. Now let's talk a bit more, let's go into more detail about the drawbacks. Are there any drawbacks? There certainly are. As I already mentioned, the drawbacks are in the software. Once again, I'm going to complain about these 3 dials here, which I, for all practical purposes actually, not even practically, I just haven't used them at all. Not even once, to be completely honest. Why? Let's go. Friends, don't be alarmed. It's just that we were celebrating Tanya's birthday here. There was a festival, and I had already prepared this video in advance so it could be released today, and it's a good thing I checked. Later on I'll be talking in more detail about some specific issues with the software, and they actually just recently released a brand new update that addressed and resolved those particular problems. So as I continue, I'll be telling you even more about these issues, but just so you know, they finally managed to completely and thoroughly fix everything at last. Let me quickly show you now. Sorry that I'm not very dressed up. It's just that, well, I really didn't plan to film or record anything. Anyway, I was complaining about it there, but look, now we can use this thing to switch the screen. Before, it was the rear left button, and that annoyed me. Now, you can set all of this up in the software. So, as you can see, we can choose which button will be assigned to switch the screen. For example, you can set it to this far right button, and that's it. Now, our dashboard changes with the far right button. That's the first point. And the second point, finally, damn it, I pushed so hard for this. I'm going to leave this in the review because it was a sore spot for me with the Conspit. So, on the 300GT yoke, they've introduced this control step. And now, finally, we can change how this dial works, whether it will increase or decrease, or whether it will output a specific value. You can also configure everything here in even more detail, with a lot of precision. Overall, well done, they've improved the software. But still, I don't understand a damn thing. My main wheel, 290, the GP that I use. And what do you think? Let's take a look. Oh, where is that tab? Where the hell is the dashboard? Where is the controls tab? Come on, seriously, what is this? I get it, you have a new budget wheel and you've set everything up for it. But shouldn't you do the same for the older wheels? Well, in short, who the hell knows? Here, as usual, look, they're not active. And these 3 knobs of mine, damn it, don't work at all. Well, as I need it, there you go. So, in this wheel, they haven't updated the software, the firmware. Alright, let's continue with the review. Sorry for that little interjection. This is the software from Conspit. So here, as I already mentioned, I won't dwell on this. You all already know this anyway if you've watched other reviews. Here you can set the color, how the ABS will work, traction control on this button, and so on. You can change all of that here. Here they are, these knobs, you see. You can change the color of this knob. Here it's red, then blue, purple, right? Well, okay. You can set the color like red and, for example, blue. And when you switch, this knob lights up red. That's all fine, that's all clear. There's one glowing mode, too. What's this? I don't know. It's in Chinese. I tried translating it with a translator, but it didn't work out for me. So these things are supposed to switch how this knob operates. In theory, for example, with this knob here, right? When we turn it, we increase the traction or ABS value, right? Well, that's the standard way you usually use the knobs in this mode. But they work just like on my 290GP wheel. Here they work the same way too, just assigned as 1, 2, 3, 4. So what am I supposed to do with them? In Assetto Corsa Confident, combinatorially, yes, that would work. You can assign traction control to each button there. That is, you can go in and set it up in detail, so that when you're racing and you need the 5th traction level, you just hit the 5th button, bam, it's activated. There it is on number 5. That's it. You'll have it like that. If not, they're present in all games. In Le Mans, this isn't available. I can't switch it. So I just had these 3 dials that were useless. I didn't use them at all. Fortunately, here there's this dial, another dial, that's already 4. This makes 5 dials, and then there are 6 dial buttons here, plus 2 buttons on the back. So even without those 3 dials, there are enough buttons here. But come on, what the heck is that? Well, okay, you could say that the wheel is just now coming out onto the market and there will be a firmware update available for it soon. But for my trusty old friend, which I have relied on for many years, there still hasn't been any firmware update released for it. I still can't use these dials, they don't even respond when I press them. Let me show you what I mean. Here it is, my 290GP wheel. I can't even press them at all. I can't switch anything here, and those 3 dials are just as useless for me, completely pointless. Oh well, sorry guys, I'm starting to get a bit sidetracked. You see, I'm starting to get a bit distracted just because, well, honestly, it's really been bothering me. Why can't you make proper software? Everything else seems to be fine with you. I mean, I like the quality of your materials, I like your package, your approach, all that stuff, but come on, seriously, you need to step it up already, just improve your software. It's honestly really frustrating. They're just sitting there unused, you know? So guys, I'm sitting here editing the review and realized I forgot to mention another downside, and that's the screen switching. So as I mentioned before, this button on the back changes the screen. And again, I was digging through the software just now, but I still couldn't find a way to reassign this button because I actively use these 2 features. Of course, I hardly ever look at the screen, I don't really care, but it's still annoying when, for example, I lower the engine value in Le Mans Ultimate, right? At the same time, the screen also switches, and that's a bit irritating. And it could have been set up so that in the software you could move this button to some other ones that I don't use here. There are a lot of buttons like these in places like this, which I hardly ever use, but again, I couldn't find where to do that. And maybe, or most likely, you just can't do it at all. Again, that's a downside. And what is all this related to again? That's right, the software. So we'll have to wait until they fix this. Because, I'll say it again, I've started using these 2 buttons quite actively. Well, overall, that's basically it. There's really nothing more to say here. I could say a bit more about the grips. I've been riding with Conspit equipment for a bit longer now. I can tell you that at first these grips feel a bit, well, not quite clean, you know, like the rubber, there aren't any seams here, everything feels nice, but it's as if the rubber is a little bit dirty or something. But after you ride for a while, like I've been riding for about a week, it breaks in, and then it feels a bit different, already softer to the touch. I don't know, maybe they treat it with something, although it doesn't smell like anything at all. I'm not sure, maybe they just treat it with something so it lasts longer, I don't know. That's it. But then, after you've ridden for a while, it starts to feel better to the touch. And again, like I said, the advantage is that it doesn't wear out at all. I mean, my grips don't get worn down anywhere. You keep riding and riding, and it stays just as new as it was. That's really, honestly, pretty cool. Well, let's quickly go over the rest. Basically, the price for $100 isn't expensive for a premium segment yoke. It probably covers all your needs, all the functions. It has plenty of adjustments. Even without these 3 here, there are still enough adjustments. The little screen is useless, but at least it looks stylish. well, you can of course try to use it for something, but you're unlikely to really pay attention to it, especially since, again, when you have a big screen you can actually see something there. But here, for example, you set these values, right? But during a race, are you really going to be peering over here at this little thing? What's your tire pressure there? And what if someone has poor eyesight? There are different cases, but basically the numbers are really small. You can always see the gear, but as for the other values, well, look, these are the tires, and the tire pressures, you'd need a magnifying glass to see that. I mean, seriously, what else can I say? The pedals here are cool, really quiet, and quite comfortable. And these two little buttons are, of course, awesome. And as you can see, the whole thing looks so festive, beautiful, attractive. As for the pedals, I can't say, guys. I don't know. I'm comfortable riding with these kinds of pedals, you know? And with these ones too. I've tried both the combined pedals here and the separate ones, and the difference, there really isn't any difference. I don't know. I mean, I don't miss them. You can't really miss them, you know? It's just that, well, right now by the sound, yeah, you can kind of tell the difference. But again, if you're riding with headphones on, then honestly, I don't know, well, maybe the pressure you apply, but the force required to press them is more or less the same. I'm saying that it's comfortable to press the pedals with the amount of force needed. For example, on my Fanatec McLaren wheel, I don't like it because you really have to press the pedals hard, you have to apply quite a lot of force, but whatever, that's just my old revision, so it doesn't really matter anymore. And that's it, your money. If only the rotary encoders worked, I don't know what bad thing I could even say. It's comfortable for me to drive, mainly because the grip is the same as on my 290GP. There are enough buttons, everything you need is there, and yeah, everything is great except for the rotary encoders. That's it. The only thing I can really complain about is the rotary encoders. How about the cable? After a week, everything is fine. How it will hold up in a month, 2 or 3, I think there won't be any problems either, because nowadays these cables and all these mounts are made quite reliably again. Well, just look, I mean, I don't know, I stretched it out. I mean, it's not like I pulled it just a little, I was pulling it with all my strength just now. I'm just worried that something might actually tear out here. Somehow the cable stretched out like this, yeah. So these days, all these connections and wires have definitely become much more reliable. Again, take my cube control, you see what kind of socket it has you had to screw it on, and basically do all sorts of things. So that's all from me, friends. And that's pretty much it. You can buy this steering wheel for any base. Whether you have a Moza, a Simagic, a Simicube or a Conspit, it doesn't matter. This cable comes included in the package, so you don't need to buy it separately. The only thing you need is a quick release for your base. And that's it. I hope this video was helpful. See you in the next races. Bye.